Hi, welcome back to CS170. We're going to give you the first of several lectures for this section. Let me come over to here. So actually, close this. So you can see on Canvas under Files, you see the Week 1 resources. So under the Week 1 resources, you'll see the corresponding textbook. Here's the week 1 lecture. These are the learning objectives. So you have this part over here. Yeah, so it has some vocabulary. And then, of course, within the book, you have these little exercises. And then recitation, you'll be covering some of those topics. So I just showed this to you. I'm going to switch over to the PowerPoint right now. Okay. And I just reiterate those points here again. On the PowerPoint, you can see these different topics. They should correspond to what I just showed you on Canvas. So let me walk through a couple of these. We'll probably split this up into 2 lectures. So I'm going to go through this part, then probably stop halfway, and then I'll cut another recording. So we're here. If you look at various technology innovations, you'll kind of see all these different references here. And how does that tie to you in terms of being the coolest technology? It's really about the human-computer interfaces, so how you interface with the technology. There's probably like any number of technologies that you've never seen or interfaced with, even though in the background they've probably done a lot to change the way you work or the way you get around in life. But I think a lot of the technology that really has an impact that we acknowledge is whether it's good or impactful, it really comes through these interfaces. So that's where we start to get to talk about things like user experience. So it's basically how you feel when you use the product. For those of you that have been working with computers, you've probably experienced a wide range of user experiences from very poor to very good. And even though like a particular product may have some very good functionality, the poor user experience can make or break that product. And likewise, there's maybe some products that functionally maybe nothing special, but the user experience really elevates your perception of that product. So the user experience is quite important when it comes to whether you're going to adopt the technology or not. So there's a couple of different points here which I'm going to talk through related to feedback, consistent interface, perfect reproduction, placeholders. So the first topic is about feedback. Okay, you've probably seen a lot of these different types of things. So if you've been working on something that maybe takes a while for it to process, so you send a request to a server, something online, maybe it takes a few seconds, maybe even takes longer. The computer is going to provide you some sort of feedback. Otherwise, you don't know whether it's doing something or it's actually broke somewhere behind the scenes and nothing's happening. And without some sort of feedback, so you might be tempted to just keep on clicking on something. Hopefully it will come through, something like that. So I guess people's frustration levels or user experience will become poor without feedback. So when it's processing, you might see, quite often you see things like this, right? You'll see like an hourglass. You'll see this little thing here, it says processing. You'll see like this little spinning wheel going on. These other different types of things where you have, here you have sound, you have like your email, and you have these little emoticons that will say whether you're happy, neutral, or sad. Um, and you have like this little progress bar to show where you are relative to the end. You see it moving or not. And, you know, something can take, in this case, say there's 4 minutes left, something can take however many long minutes. And without this type of feedback, without knowing when it's going to end and whether you're progressing against that or not, can lead to a very frustrating user experience. So this is what they're talking about when they talk about feedback. Okay, consistent interface. Consistent interface would be, I think the example I'm going to show you in a second is something like, let's say, Microsoft products. In theory, it's doing many different things, but you're trying to provide a similar look and feel so that someone who's familiar with Microsoft products, the next product that comes along, it's a lot easier for you to jump in there and make use of that product. So I'll show you that in a second. But you can see here, you'll see things like similar menu items, similar look and feel. Look, you got similar functions, cut, copy, and paste. And we're here is talking about Microsoft products. I'm going to show you in a second here. I mean, I'm on PowerPoint right now. Right, so just like what they're mentioning here, you can see like almost all of the products, you're going to see the same exact thing here. Right, so I'm here, you have the home, you got like a new and an open. So basically you're opening up a new PowerPoint, you can open it. When you do the new here, you can see all these different like templates to get you started, or you can just start off with a blank presentation. You have info, you have ways to save it, print it, share it, will be like email it or something. There could be other types of way to share it too. You can export into different formats, stuff like that. And then you have this thing here to close this back up, right? Similar, you can go along the top, you have all these different options here. Yeah, I'm just clicking through these pretty quickly, but you get the idea, right? You have your title bar here, you can customize this, but the default, it's all going to look the same, right? So you can save it, you can, flip back, you made a mistake, you can flip back to a prior update, undo, they call it, all these different things here, okay? So let me just hop over to something else here. So this is Microsoft Word. Looks very similar, right? You can see the same thing across the top here, right? Even if you look at the right here, you can see my name, all these different things, they're exactly the same. Scrolling back here, similar types of things here. You got the home, insert. I'm going to go back to file here. You see this looks pretty much exactly the same thing, right? You got the new, you got a new document you can do, you got some templates you can do here. You can do an open, you can see these old ones here. You can do different saves, print, sharing, export, so on and so forth. I close this up, same exact way. Okay, so I'll close this up, and then very quickly, I'm just going to show you the Excel very quickly, just show you a point. You guys are going to be working with Excel a lot when we get to the latter part of this class. Similar type of thing. Look across, you see exactly the same stuff going across. You see the same thing here, home, insert, I go to file, and again, new, blank workbook. You got these other little things that you can open up here. Open, you got save, save as, print, share, export. All right, so I'm not going to dwell on this too much, but you get the idea of what we think of consistency. And all that means is that from a user interface standpoint, there's a good comfort level. Every time you learn how to do like a new product, there's probably a certain amount of stress or uncomfortableness when you have to go up that learning curve. So having a suite of products that where possible, you try to present like a very consistent interface. It just makes your adoption of a new product that much easier. So that's what they mean by consistent interface, right? You might see that when you're dealing with Apple products, right? So how you get new software, how you manage the files in the operating system there, um, how you navigate through browsers or any applications. All those things are examples of what you're looking at for consistent interface. Okay. Okay. So this just continues on talking about the consistent interface. Um, so what I was just talking about pretty much hits along a point 2 here, um, pretty much along point 3 here, and point 4. Okay. All right, so 2, 3, and 4 is basically what I've just been talking about, why you want to have that consistent interface. Um, this is up on point 1. This is really talking about from a company's standpoint, where it makes things easier for them. Um, if they're doing everything the same, they basically build up libraries or blocks of code that can be reused over and over again into different applications. So it helps the companies that are producing these software also. Um, but these are different reasons why you like to see consistent interface. Okay. Um, so you saw back when I was talking about Word, Excel, or even with the PowerPoint, um, new instance. What does a new instance mean? Um, so all that means is exactly like what this says here, a new Word document, a new contact, a new calendar appointment. So it's just a new blank version, right? So this is the key thing right here, create new blank version. So it's a new document in this case that's blank, is ready for you to go. Then you can save it, you can name it whatever you want, put content in there. Um, you can set it into a template, whatever. Um, that's what a new instance would be, right? So um, yeah, I don't think we need to cover that too much more. That's a pretty basic thing here. Um, I'm going to stop right here, and then we're going to pick up another lecture to talk about metaphors and things like a desktop. So I'm going to pause this. I'm going to create a new lecture for metaphors in a second. Thank you.